Hi gang, I'm out here again with my 1903A4 Springfield rifle with some more experimental ammunition. I've got the same bullet, the 168 grain Match King that I was shooting the other day, and I've still got the Reloader 19 powder, but I've stepped down on the accelerator a little bit more on the powder charges to increase my velocity. My goal is to end up with the 168 grain bullet going between 2,650 and 2,700 feet per second, which I don't think is going to be too difficult. I don't think you can see it, but off the camera right in front of me here, I have my chronograph. So I'm going to be testing these loads. I am starting with 54.7 grains of Reloader 19. The second one I'm going to test is 55.2 grains, then 55.7, and last is going to be 56.2 grains of Reloader 19. My hope is to get, like I said, that velocity between 2,650 and 2,700 feet per second. If I make it a little over 2,700 feet per second, all the better. And hand in hand with that, I want to have a group size that's around 1 minute of angle. Lower is better, but I'll settle for minute of angle out of this rifle with this scope. As you can tell, my unseasonably warm February weather in Ohio is gone. It's about 29 degrees right now, and I've got a pretty stiff wind blowing. Fortunately, it's coming directly at my 12 o'clock straight at me. And I've got some light snow blowing around. So this ought to be interesting. We're going to give it a try and see what happens. Just like before, after I get something worth watching, I'll fire the camera back up and we'll see where we are. So let's see what happens. Okay, that was my first 6 shots in 29-degree weather. My average velocity with that particular load, which is 54.7 grains, is down around 2,460 feet per second. Now again, this is on a 29-degree day. On a 90-degree day, that might well be 2,550, maybe 2,600. I'm going to take a walk down range and see what the group looks like. Doesn't look too bad through the spotting scope. Okay, that's my first 6-shot group. My very first shot was this one right here, touching the X, in the X ring. My next 2 were here and here. There's actually 2 shots here and 2 shots here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I pulled number 6 over to here. I saw the sights move on this one. I saw the crosshairs move slightly to the right just as the shot broke, so that was a called flyer. So these are all a little over a minute of angle, minute and a quarter, something like that. I'm going to go back, try the next load, and I think what I'm going to do is the same thing I did the other day. When I have the rest of the targets done, we'll come back and look at all of them, see which one looks the best. By the way, this is what the range looks like today. Yesterday was warm, a lot of the snow melted, but it's back to being cold again today. Okay gang, my trip to the range got cut short today, and I'll explain why in just a couple of minutes. But basically it had to do with the weather. This was the target that you saw last, that was still when it was hanging out at the range. The velocity on this for 54.7 grains of Reloader 19 and a 168 grain Sierra Match King bullet was 2,462 feet per second. Now to give you an idea, the other day during that unusual warm spell we had, the temperature was almost 60 degrees. The last experimental load that I used that day was a half a grain lighter than this, and the velocity was almost exactly 100 feet per second faster. So I shot this, and the accuracy looked promising. Like I said, out at the range, that one shot that's off to the right, just underneath the numeral 10, was a called flyer. All in all, not too bad on that. Everything obviously is in the 10 ring, and I got a couple of X's there. When I finished this and I started to shoot the next 6-shot group, I ended up with this. My first shot was low down here, which caught my attention right off the bat. As I shot, the next couple of shots came up into here. Actually, I think the next shot was up here. I think this was just a bad shot on my part. Then it kind of settled down in this area here. When I looked at the chronograph after I got done shooting this, and again, this is half a grain higher than the last target that you just saw, or the last shots that were on that target. And this one came in almost 10 feet per second lower than that target with half a grain less powder. Or excuse me, that ammo with half a grain less powder. This told me that the longer my ammunition sat out there in that cold weather, the lower and lower the velocities were going, and I was basically not giving the ammunition a fair shake. As you recall, I said that I wanted to get up to 2,650 to 2,700 feet per second, and I think all I was doing today was just allowing this ammunition to get colder and colder, and the velocities to potentially go lower. Now, I have a feeling if I had continued on and used the heavier powder charges in the other experimental ammunition that I had, that my velocity would have probably gone up above this, but I still don't think it would have looked anything like it normally would on a 70-degree sunny day in the spring, or what I would be expecting to see, particularly at Camp Perry during the summer, where it might be up in the mid-90s when I shoot. I think it's safe to say at this point that Reloader 19 is temperature sensitive, which is not uncommon. That's not really a knock. It's just something that I have determined regarding this powder. Obviously, some powders are more so than others. So I think it's going to be important to complete my test on this sometime when the weather is a little bit warmer and I can get a better idea of what the velocities are going to look like. I think if I get up into that 60-degree window, that's going to give me a better idea of how the ammunition is going to perform velocity-wise than out there today when I'm in the high 20s with a 15-mile-an-hour wind. I don't know what the wind chill is today, but I can tell you it's cold. But anyway, I just wanted to finish this up for today and let you know where I ended up. Hope you find this informative. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. Take care. Bye-bye.